Alright, what's going on, guys? Team Crimson back again with another deck profile. This time it's going to be Subterrors. This is an archetype that was pretty shit when it came out, and it continued to be shit until the last wave of support came out in Maximum Crisis. It is playable now. Wouldn't say it's good, but you can play the deck. It is pretty cheap, so if you want to play it like casually or just something at a local, something fun to play, then I definitely recommend this deck because it is really fun. You can do some cool stuff with it, and yeah, it's got some pretty big boss monsters. It doesn't need an extra deck, so I mean, if you think this deck's going to be good in Link, then I guess you can play it, but uh, it doesn't really need an extra deck except for a couple of instant fusion targets. But other than that, the deck is alright. The flip monsters are pretty cool, and yeah, so I'll just get right into it. So to start off, we've got the big monster, 2 Ultra Maphis. So what he does, he flips face up, and then he's just Book of Eclipse. So he's a big 3k beater, and that's pretty much it. So he can flip everything face down, and then, that's about it. So, 2 Stalagmo, he's like your Destiny draw of the deck, so he flips face up, and then you discard a Subterror, draw 2 cards. So, pretty good effect, adds to the consistency of the deck, and he's 2800 attack, so another big beater. Run 1 of this guy. This guy's garbage, but you need him because he's a level 9, and there's a combo to make True King of Calamities, so you need him for that. 1 of the new guy, Phospheroid Glacier, so he came out in Maximum Crisis. So what he does, he flips face up, and then he's basically just Beatrice or Foolish Burial, so you can send a card from your deck to the graveyard. So sending Blow Up Bulb is a really good play to make, because then you can just summon it back and synchro with it. Or sending Nemesis Warrior, so then he can come out of the graveyard later on, is another good one. So a lot of cool things you can do with this card. That card is actually pretty good. 2 Umastrix. I still find he's the most useful card in the deck, just because you can flip him face up and then just banish something on the field. So, or 1 monster, sorry, but yeah, so he still helps clear boards, and you can abuse his effect really well, so he's really good. 2 Nemesis Warrior. I don't play 3 of this anymore, just because with the new support out, you don't need 3. So 2 of him is fine. 3 Nemesis Archer. This card's really good, especially with the Earth True King, because you can destroy it on the field, summon the True King guy, and then summon another Subterror from your deck. So that's part of the combo to make the True King of all calamities. 3 Fiendus, another one of the new cards for Maximum Crisis. This card's really good. This is the card that kind of brings the whole deck together, because it lets you actually summon them. So, since before there wasn't really a good way to summon them, so this gives you a good way to summon them. It's a 1-for-1 target, and yeah, it's also like a hand trap sort of thing that you can negate effects with. So, this card is really great. 3 True King Lathos Sagem. So this guy, really good card anyway, especially in the Dino deck. In this deck, since everything is Earth, almost all the time you're going to get his effect to banish stuff from the extra deck, which is huge against Zoo. And some of his interactions with the other cards in the deck are really good, especially Archer. 1 Blow Up Bulb. So this lets you make Nat Beast if you can send it with Phospheroid Glacier, or just normal summon it. But yeah, so you run the Blow Up Bulb because it is super useful. And 1 Max C because it's Max C. Now for the spells, I'm running the 3 Hidden City, of course, and the 3 Terraforming to search it. You need to see this card because it's so good. It searches all your Subterror monsters, lets you flip them face up and face down, and can negate attacks and flip them face up. So that card's so good, and you want to have that in your hand as much as possible. 3 Instant Fusion, so Norton's Band, obviously, but you use this to make Invoked Ragin. So you run a few of him in your extra deck, so basically, all the big Subterror monsters have an effect that if a card on the field is flipped face down, or on your side of the field is flipped face down, and you have no face-up monsters, then you can special summon it from your hand. So if you Instant Fusion for this guy, use his effect to flip himself face down, then you trigger their effects, and it lets you summon them. So it's a really cool starter card that lets you get your monsters on the board. 2 Twin Twister, just for back row and stuff. 1 for 1 that lets you summon Fiendus. Regeki, because it's good against Zoo. And Upstart Goblin for an extra bit of consistency. Into the Traps, don't run very many. 2 of the new Final Battle. This card's also really good, even though it is pretty slow. So, it's got a bunch of effects. It lets you flip them face up, flip them face down. Combine their attack and defense, so it lets you get over huge monsters. And you can also make it so Subterror effects can't be negated for this turn, so it lets you always get their flip effects off. And when you flip this card over, it doesn't go to the graveyard, it just flips itself back down, so it recycles itself, so it's really cool. And I'm running the small Solemn cards just because they're really good. I'll go off to the extra deck. So, as you've already seen, 2 Invoke Rage in, because it's a really good starter card for the deck and it's a fusion target. So I run some Synchros since I'm running Glow Bulb. Stardust Charge is pretty good to make in this deck just because it helps you get over big fields, especially against Zoo, I found out, because they're all special summon, not very high attack. Lets you attack all special summon monsters, and it also lets you draw cards, so pretty good. Nat Beast is what you're going to be going into the most. Nat Beast is huge, especially this format, so you want this out. I run 1 Danglong, so it's kind of the same idea as it is in Dinos, so you can just send your True King guy from your deck to make him level 9, and then just make True King of all calamities, so that's pretty much the only thing. You don't go. I don't think I've ever gone into him, but it's there if you need it. 1 of this, so Herald's pretty good just as a general negate card. 1 True King of all calamities, so the way to go into him is, it's 2 cards, so it's not super consistent, but it does actually come up quite a bit. So what you do, normal summon this, and then you use this effect to destroy it and another monster. So this summons, and then this effect goes off, so you can summon another Subterror from your deck. So you go for this guy, who's also level 9, and then you overlay it, and then, yeah, so that just gives you True King of all calamities. So that actually comes up quite a bit in this deck. So yeah, everything else in this deck is pretty irrelevant, so you can just run some rank 4s. I run that, I've never made it. You don't go into the extra deck very much at all. So yeah, just some random rank 4s and whatever you want to run, because you're not going to go into it all that often. Alright, so that's going to do it for the Subterror deck profile. So all in all, pretty fun deck. It's never going to be competitive, it's never going to get, it's never going to top anything, but just for a fun, casual deck, it is really fun, and I would recommend picking it up just if you want something cheap, fun to play for locals or something like that. So, yeah, so that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, comment anything you want to see, and see you next time.